even though AI is hot now, we already have been surrounded by it. What I'm trying to say is learning never ends. The battle of the future will be a battle of minds. This is why the other reason I like your podcast. It's mindset.
AI is not going to just take people's jobs. If you have the skill set to use AI, you will be the one taking those jobs.
Crypto makes sense when you start thinking 100 years from now. 100 years from now, they're gonna be self-driving cars. Going to the space station, International Space
It'll be
Station,
very easy.
be very easy. You're not going to go to the International Space Station with your dollars now. Each time that technology evolves, there's always some resistance to adoption. When the wireless cell phone came out, those people were
The
scared.
middlemen were removed.
They were
Immediately.
scared. Some of them, because a few of them who are long-sighted saw that vision, adapted, right? But some other people said, no, this is how we have been and this is the way to go. And those are the people who get left behind. I'm making that point to say it's the same thing with AI. You have to adopt it. We are essentially at a time where the system can talk to you. Last year, I gave away so much cryptocurrency. And the simple point in me giving it is that I hope that this $20, this money I'm giving you, grows
Multiplies.
and multiplies.
So that really is something that is amazing. You tip in servers, different restaurants in crypto because you want them to adopt it.
It's the future of currency.
Yeah, it's the future of currency, and the earlier we start adopting it, the better for us. You know, this day and age is all about AI. AI here, AI there. And a lot of people still are wondering, what is this AI? Am I missing out? What am I supposed to do? Am I the only one that haven't heard about AI? Yes, I've heard about it, but am I the only one that is not using it? How do I even start? Where do I start? This is the question or questions a lot of people ask today. So today, we are going to be talking about the adoption of AI, how we can actually adopt AI and how we can make use of AI so that we are not missing out on anything. And I thought about a person that I can bring on this show to come educate us on how we can actually achieve this. I looked my left, I looked my right, and I couldn't think of any other person. But my very good friend,
Yes.
Ben Collins Asongwe, the owner and founder of BC Advantage LLC, and of course the creator of BCAI. Collins, Ben Collins, Broski the Broski.
Broski the Broski.
It is nice having you here on my podcast.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that introduction. I've known you for a very
Long time.
very long time. I have followed and watched your work. It's quite an amazing thing that you're doing here. So first
Thank
of
you.
all, shout out to you.
Thank you.
Shout out to the royalty crew,
Thank you very
who's been
much.
supporting you in your journey.
Thank
As you were saying, in this day and age, it's all about AI, unless you've been living under a rock.
Yes.
If you are watching this, what I want you to know is this conversation is being, distributed through various channels,
Right.
which in one way or the other are powered by AI. So even though AI is hot now, is to understand that we already have been surrounded by it, whether it's the cell phones you're using, whether it's the computers that you're using, it is already all around us now. The abilities of the system have advanced, right? And so where we are now is where all the data that we've been feeding the system is able to talk to us. And as you mentioned, I am the founder of BC Advantage LLC. This company exists at the intersection of purpose and artificial intelligence. We are trying to help people find that thing that drives them and then implement, AI strategies. So we do consulting. As a consultant, it's just all about figuring problems out, figuring things out. I love puzzles, so whenever I'm, client facing or working on something, I like to see the bigger picture and how it all comes together. So we do consulting, we do coaching, because coaching, I think, interestingly enough, is at the intersection of mindset,
Yes,
right? So
absolutely.
helping people tap into that potential, tap into themselves, first. And then the second part of the coaching program is implementing AI strategies. We're going to talk about various AI tools, but you also mentioned BCAI,
Right.
which is our own AI product.
Yeah.
So, in partnership with OpenAI, we collaborated and built this GPT, which you can find in the GPT store.
Right.
We already know that the systems are smart. We already know that they can do so much. And so going into building it was all about building something that was going to be mindful, thoughtful and empathetic. Think about it sort of like having a tutor, a
Yeah.
personal tutor, right? You don't want your tutor to just show you that it's smart. You want your tutor to connect to you, right? How do you learn and things like that. And so we built this product to, help people, right, adopt AI, right, in a way, or accomplish whatever task it is that they're trying to accomplish. And then through the coaching, we just streamline that process, give them guided, and tailored steps.
Right.
And then the last thing we do, which I sort of mentioned, was AI products. So BCAI is one of the products that we have. We also have a partnership with Gamma, which Gamma is a new way of presenting ideas. Do you use
Yes.
PowerPoint?
Yes. And I've actually used Gamma as well
Exactly.
to create some slides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Gamma is a new way of presenting ideas powered by AI. There is no denying it. There is no running away from it. AI is here to stay. And so we are just helping people make that switch, make that, adopt it from a mindset perspective.
Wow. Ben Collins. You have said
I
a
know that was
lot.
quite a bit. I just came out swinging.
I know. I love that. You've said a lot in this short period of time. I want us to start breaking it down because a lot of people are interested in this topic and I wouldn't want them to miss out on anything. I'll start by asking, you actually mentioned, you said this AI thing has actually been with us for ages.
Correct.
Many of us just didn't realize that it's actually AI,
Correct.
But the day and age has come where we now know the topic of AI.
AI, yeah.
And some people are still wondering, you keep talking about AI. So
Right.
can you take us back memory lane, how
Right.
AI has been around?
Right,
What
right.
was it like? Which form
Right,
was it like? Or was it at that point in time? And
Right.
how has it come to evolve to where it is today? Can you
right.
talk just a little bit on that?
So we will have to look at the journey of AI, would have to look at the journey of technology, right? Technology has you go back to the Stone Age, for example. You had, people who designed a sort of wheel that was not circular, but maybe let me say like a square, right? And this is what they used for transportation, and transportation was hard. Somebody out there sat and said, well, you know what? Maybe if we made this wheel not a square but a circle, maybe it would help things go faster.
Right.
You see, technology is born out of that need to innovate, right? From that example, you go into electricity, right? Electricity was born at a time when we were using fire torches. And then some physicist somewhere, sat and said, well, you know what? Maybe there's an alternative. You see?
Right.
I'm starting with the really rudimental aspects to show you that, the backbone and the essence of technology is always to improve something. Now, flash forward to the year 2000, right? Early 2000s, in the 1990s, something like that. You have Microsoft that comes about. The essence of Microsoft is it's just a software. You already had computers out there, right?
It provided a platform.
Correct.
To
the
build more.
Infrastructure.
Yes.
Word, Excel, all those things are just infrastructures that help present data or derive value out of data in a different way. You see?
True.
That need for innovation comes to light again. We as human beings are always looking for new ways to evolve and new ways to transform the things that we've been doing, right?
Yeah.
For the longest time. So Microsoft's drive is to bring the PC to everybody, right? So they're building tools that are intuitive, right? That the everyday person can use. With Excel, for example, you just go, hey, I want to track my finances, right? I want to be able to see from a visual tabular maybe form, this is on this date, this is what I spend, this is how that money goes, and things like that. It's just a neat way of organizing data.
Right.
From Excel, you have PowerPoint, which again is another way of presenting that data, maybe in a image or
Pictorial form.
slide in
Yeah.
a different form. That as well is a new way of presenting.
Right.
You can see that all along.
There's been evolving.
Yes.
How do you put it now?
Microsoft goes from Windows, I don't know, 89 or whatever
Right.
it was,
98.
98,
Yes.
99,
yeah, to 2000
2000.
and all of that.
Each of those times, it's the system getting better.
Yeah. Improvement.
Improvement. It is the system getting better, improving, learning, being fine tuned
Right.
each time. Flash forward now, in the year 2000s and things like that. You remember the phones that we had and how chunky those phones were.
Right.
There are still jokes to today. You look at a Nokia phone, for
Yeah,
example.
3310 and those types, yeah. They were just buttons and green screen. Yes. But
And
today we have it in
you
touch
have a
forms. Yeah.
smartphone.
Right.
So when you really sit and look at that evolution, and I went all the way back to the Stone Ages to make a point, is that we are constantly evolving, right? And guess what? Each time that technology evolves, there's always some resistance to adoption because in that same year 2000, remember that when you wanted to call somebody on the landline, you called. First of all, the phones you had to go crack, 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 right?
Yes.
When you called, it called an operator who would then say, hey, where are you trying to call? You tell them where they're
connect you.
calling, and then they connect you. When the wireless cell phone came out, those people were
The
scared.
middlemen were removed.
They were
Immediately.
scared.
Yeah.
Some of them, because a few of them who are long-sighted saw that vision, adopted, right? But some other people said, no, this is how we have been and this is the way to go. And those are the people who get left behind. I'm making that point to say it's the same thing with AI. You have to adopt it. There is no going back. Like there's not a time where you would see China is adopting it, Europe already passing regulations. Everybody under the sun
Is
is
adopting.
is
It's
adopting
talking
it.
about it, adopting it, and all of that. But we still have some few
Yeah.
who are still, like you mentioned, there will be people who are always gonna be resistant to change.
Right.
And some of them are just built like that.
Right.
Some of them are scared.
Correct.
And
Rightfully
then-
so.
Yeah,
Rightfully
and
so.
that's the reason why we have this type of discussion going on, this type of podcast where we can freely educate people.
Right. Right.
The reason why they should not be afraid.
Right.
And they should be ready for the change and adopt the change.
Right,
And that's
right.
the essence of this topic.
Right, right.
For today.
Right.
I just want to let you guys know that AI is not going to just take people's jobs.
Right.
If you have the skills
Right.
set to use AI, you will be the one taking those jobs.
Right.
So
And you can build the skills.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
How
can
to
build the
build the skill right now is what I want us to go.
To talk about.
So how do we
yes.
adopt
Yes.
AI?
Yes.
How how do we remove the fears
Right.
that we have and start really doing something to adopt AI? Where do we start?
Right. So as we're talking about again those the cycle and the flow, the evolution, and talking about the people who in the cell phone companies, right, the operators
Right.
losing their jobs and things like that. Now, at that time, right, there was a basic or fundamental question: do you learn about the technology or not? Right? And those who were resistant to that change are the people, right, who got left behind. Taking that to apply it to today, we are essentially at a time where the system can talk to you.
Absolutely.
right? Right? This is the data that we've been feeding the system as human beings for so long. Now it's able
It's
to
talking
talk
to
to
us.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? There's so many advancements in quantum, computing, and all those things. Microsoft also making their own releases. What I'm trying to say is learning never ends. The battle of the future will be a battle of minds. This is why the other reason I like your podcast. It's mindset.
Yeah.
The mindset is so important. If you are, let me say, in the IT field, right? What you should be doing right now is interacting with AI. I would talk to, one of the times I was talking to a data scientist and we're talking about AI and she's looking at me like, I'm a data scientist. So obviously, I'm doing AI. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't think, I'm landing,
Right.
right? What I'm trying to say is, what are the issues that you're facing at work? And then she would describe it to me and say, hey, she's trying to optimize this process and things like that. And that's where AI comes in. And I said to her, have you asked the AI? This problem that you're facing,
Right.
have you asked the AI? What it would do is give you alternatives that you may
Ideas.
not have thought about.
Yeah.
That's, to me, is what using AI means, is that you're using it as a partner. It's not there to replace you,
Right.
but as a partner to augment your work and improve your work.
Wow.
Whatever field or
like that.
department that you are in,
Right.
right? One basic, right? Prompt engineering is a field right now that is growing. And what a prompt engineer is basically is someone who knows how to ask the right questions. We struggle a lot with asking the right questions, right? So, whatever field you're in, go into the AI. Here's a prompt. I'm giving an example. Say, I am in this field, right? How is AI going to affect this field? And what can I do to get ahead of it? It would tell you, wouldn't
Exactly. Exactly. The right prompting is all it needs.
it? Exactly.
And if it doesn't give you the right answer, reprompt.
Correct.
Edit your prompting.
Edit your prompt
and
Correct.
until you get what you want.
until you get what you want.
Right.
And the thing is, where we were saying earlier that the system is at the point where it can talk to you is in the sense that it learns, right?
Yeah.
Machines have two ways of learning.
That's why it's called artificial intelligence.
Intelligence,
It's
right?
artificial.
Correct.
It's working basically with the data that it has gathered over the years.
Over the years.
And try to guess.
Correct.
It gives you the answer. If you are not satisfied,
Probabilities.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you are not quite there. Can you do it, differently? And it will do it for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
It learns just like a human does.
Right.
A machine learns in two primary ways in machine learning. There's supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is sort of you look here at this decor, you hold this bottle up and you tell the machine that this is a bottle.
Yeah.
And then it goes, okay. Then you hide it and bring it again and ask it that what is this? And it will tell you about it because it learned. So supervised learning is a way that you are essentially guiding it step by step. Unsupervised learning is where you give it all this data, right?
Random.
And then it has learned from the supervised. And based on its knowledge, in unsupervised learning, it just goes and labels things and then you see that at the end and you measure it at the end.
Yeah.
You see. So the machine has gotten to the point where it's learning. If you ask, as we were saying earlier, you ask a question and you don't get the right answer, don't get discouraged. I met a guy in Canada who, this was back in 20, I met him in 2014,
Okay.
but he was telling me about an experience that he had in about, I would say 2020 or so, 2022. He said he had asked, ChatGPT at the time, a question about finances, like financial investing.
Right.
And he said the answer was bullshit. And I said, you know what? Fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And he said since then he just gave up. So I said, now that's the error, right? Because had you not given up and had you thought the system, imagine what you'll be able to do now. See? So in many ways, with BCAI, this is what I'm trying to do. I built something that is young and that would grow. I imbued it with purpose. I imbued it with purpose. And it's meant to just be there as that personal assistant, something that has your best interest at heart, right? It's hard to think that you can program a machine that way, but I believe that.
Absolutely. Just like you said, right? If that person had not given up,
Yeah.
it would have advanced. When I started building my own AI, branded AI, it was just for personal use, right? I wanted to be able to build brands with AI with just some prompting. Give me an idea on how I can build up such and such brand.
Right.
And it will automatically build it for you and
Right,
give you all the
right.
data you need.
Exactly.
So the first prompting I gave, while I was just training it at that point in
Right,
time,
right.
it was trash.
Right.
What it brought back to me, I was like, "No, I'm not satisfied with this."
Right.
I asked the same question on ChatGPT.
GPT.
It was different.
Saw the
Yeah,
how ChatGPT
how
broke it down.
structured it was.
Yes.
That is basically teaching,
Correct.
training the AI.
Correct.
Guess what? After a while, it started giving me more robust details. That's how it actually works. That's
Very
how it
good.
works.
Very good.
So,
very good.
Brusky,
Brusky the
you don't,
Brusky.
you don't seem to like. I am amazed at how you have evolved.
Thank you.
You're a mathematician. You
Yes.
studied actuarial science. You didn't study computer science.
No.
You didn't study, anything tech.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You are
Correct.
a guy of numbers.
Numbers, yes.
And when we met in 2017, right?
I
2017,
know.
was
It's
when we
been a
met.
Wow.
I know what you were doing then, right? Guess what? You actually adopted AI before me, a computer scientist.
Yes. Do you know that the first
Yeah.
AI system that I built was in 2019?
2019?
The first AI system I built unknowingly
Wow.
was in 2019. The funny thing with computers, as a computer scientist,
Right.
is it's what zeros and ones.
Absolutely. It's numbers.
It's numbers.
Yeah.
In many ways, there is a cross between mathematics,
A computer.
probability,
Yeah.
and computers.
That's true. Of course, we deal with mathematics.
Yeah.
What I mean is that, you dealt with numbers.
Yes,
We dealt more than just the
Yes,
numbers. We
you were
dealt
in
with
the system.
practical and other parts. But how you've been able to really just take yourself so seriously and adopt AI is still amazing to me. I'm amazed.
Yes.
You have taught me a lot of things in AI.
Yes.
In fact, you're one of the guys that like pushed me and said,
Thank
"Dude,
you.
I said, dude, what
Proud
are
of
you
you,
doing?"
bro.
And one thing I really like about you, your mindset is very strong, and maybe that's the reason why we've remained friends
Right,
after so many
Through the
years.
years.
Yes.
How many birthdays have we
How many
celebrated, my
birthdays?
dude?
We've lived together in 2 different apartments back in the days, So that's how we have fared in life so far. Like I mentioned, reason why I'm still very, very much connected with. Imagine
Right.
you wanted to buy my book,
Right.
and instead of you sending me dollars,
Send
you
bit.
paid me in crypto.
Yes.
BTC.
BTC.
You said what? I like doing this because I want people to adopt the crypto. I want
Correct.
people to adopt AI and all of that.
Correct.
You even told me every time you go to the restaurants to eat, instead of
Correct.
tipping the servers with dollars or in
Correct.
dollars,
I give them crypto.
you give them BTC.
Yeah.
Just for them to
Yeah.
see the value in this and how they can actually adopt this.
Correct.
That's why I was like, who am I going to bring on this pod
To talk
about the adoption of AI?
Yeah,
I couldn't think of any other person because I have seen you practically
Yeah.
do what
Yeah.
you preach.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now you've brought in BTC.
Right.
I'm not sure how many of you out there know much about that side of the aisle, right?
Right.
Whenever you talk about cryptocurrency, there's usually a fear, and people
Yeah.
are like, it's a scam, whatever. A little bit about BTC, about cryptocurrency.
Right.
As a computer scientist, right, you see the back end. There's a lot of statistics. There's a lot of probabilities in the back end of it. The other way that let me just say what is a cryptocurrency.
Right.
If you go on Amazon and you shop on Amazon, you find this bottle, right? You put it in your cart. You didn't select this particular bottle, right? You selected an online digital version, an image
Yeah.
of this bottle, and then you put it in your digital cart.
Yeah.
And then you go to order it, you put your banking information, and then in a second, When you click pay, Amazon talks to your bank to make sure that you have the money, because if
Right.
you don't have the money,
They're
they're
not going to
not
release the
collect.
card. Yeah.
They talk to your bank to make sure you have the money, collect the money, and then because they have improved the process
Right.
so much, you get your bottle of water the next day or 2 days or something like that, right? What you just did, is exchange digital currency for a physical product, right?
Yeah.
Now, we don't really think about those technicalities, as I said, right?
Like you didn't hand over physical cash.
You did not.
Yeah.
Now, arguably, you'd say, well, it's money in your bank.
yeah.
No one is denying that, of course, it's money in your bank. But it's still a digital representation of the money in your bank, right? So if I bought this bottle, that creates a record. You buy something or you do something online, creates a record. Like in accounting, my record, your record, maybe the list of records of people who live in a certain area, that creates a ledger.
Yep.
And the ledgers, a bunch of those ledgers creates a blockchain. You hear in crypto blockchain
Right.
a lot. That is what a blockchain is. It's essentially those intersection
Of different ledgers.
Of different ledgers. Do you know the crazy thing? In artificial intelligence, you talk about the neural network. The neural network is how the artificial intelligence system is thinking. Do you know that I see a parallel between
Human
the
mind
blockchain
and the blockchain, and of course, these all together, working together. Okay, and I see where you're heading.
So there's a cross between the blockchain, which again is a series of those blocks.
Yeah.
The neural network, which is when you ask a question, you're interacting with AI. AI breaks down what you're saying into tokens, right? And then through a series of mathematical equations, it tries to predict what comes next. If you look at that data, how it's predicting and things like that, it's creating a neural network, right? Showing how it's thinking. Again, one token splits into several, other probabilities
Right.
and things like that. And then in the human mind, you have neurons. This is how our brains work. This is how we're communicating. This is how what I'm saying is making sense to you because there's, exchange between neurons and
Neurons,
things like
yeah.
that. So all those things are connected. Crypto makes sense when you start thinking 100 years from now. 100 years from now, they're going to be self-driving cars. Going to the space station, International Space
It'll be
Station,
very easy.
be very easy. You're not going to go to the International Space Station with your dollars now.
Yeah.
You're not going to go with your dollars.
No.
Cryptocurrency is a universal currency. It's applicable in the United States. It's applicable in Europe.
Everywhere in the
It's
world.
everywhere in the world. It's
It's a central currency, so
it's
to
a
say.
central currency
Yeah.
for everybody. Now, don't put all your money in cryptocurrency because it is
It's
a risk.
volatile,
It's
yeah.
volatile,
Yeah.
right? Don't put all your money there. But going back to the point you made, last year I gave away so much cryptocurrency, and the simple point in me giving it is that I hope that this $20, this $10, this money I'm giving you grows
Multiplies.
and multiplies. Factually, this week, one Bitcoin was, let me just throw a random number there, about 80 something thousand dollars.
Right.
This is a fact, not just from you and me.
It's on record.
It is on record.
Right.
This week, go and look it up. That one Bitcoin was at least 80 something thousand US dollars.
Increased.
And believe it or not, there was a time where one Bitcoin was less than $1.
Yeah. Right.
So had you put even $10 13 years ago,
a lot of money now. Yeah, a lot of money now. So
invest wisely.
right. I like that. I like that. So that really is something that is amazing to me. You tipping servers, different restaurant in crypto because you want them to adopt it and you hope that this money grows.
It's the future of currency.
Yeah, it's the future of currency. And the earlier we start adopting it, the better for us. Nobody is late. Whatever you put in cryptocurrency today will remain. Yeah.
Correct.
Of course, not the type of coin you buy, though. Not every cryptocurrency that
Correct.
is
There are some that are meme coins. There are some
that
that
will fade away tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That
people
have come and
create their
really
own every moment.
Yes,
but we know
yes.
some that have come to stay.
institutional
BTC
ones. Yes.
is very obvious that has come to stay.
Correct,
That type of stuff.
right.
Well,
It's the founding coin.
Is the founding coin.
It's the
Yeah.
founding coin.
Today is not about crypto. We just wanted to,
Right.
we just digress a little bit while we're discussing
Right.
AI and how we can adopt AI. It's the same for crypto. That's the same way you adopt crypto. BC has said a lot today. The other day, we went online and communicated on virtual reality.
In the virtual reality.
Yeah,
So
you had your Oculus, I had my Oculus. We were able to sit together. I visited your mansion.
yes.
What do you call your mansion again? What do you call it again?
my island, my bachelor's pad.
Your paradiso.
My paradiso. That's right.
That was fun.
Yes.
Today we both have our Oculus. I don't know if we have the time to just put it on and visit. Some
this virtual
reality and see exactly.
Yes. Virtual reality is just it's a space. Imagine the space that we're in, but we're in the metaverse.
Right.
So it's this digital recreation. Believe it or not, the metaverse is a digital recreation of our physical world.
That's it. And it's actually part of AI.
Yep.
Inspired by AI.
Yep. It's the technology of the future. In the future, you know how now you can even call on video, let me say WhatsApp or any service that you use, Zoom, Google. In the future, you will just appear there.
Yeah. And just be there live.
Your hologram would, something would just appear. And, it makes a difference if I'm holding a device like this, I'm talking to you, or if I'm sitting right next to you. So that's what we're going to show in this demo.
Right.
And we're going to meet somewhere. You're going to be invited to my paradiso.
Yes.
and
we'll see what's up in that place.
We'll see what's up.
Maybe you're going to cook something and then we can eat something. What are you going to cook? Are you going to...
I'll take you to some venues that they have there, because in the metaverse now you can attend conferences, right? You can attend concerts as well. You can interact with a whole variety of people.
Right.
So again, it's this digital, I've seen recruiting, right? Some of these major players, Deloitte, Google, EY, some of these companies are already recruiting from the metaverse. Yeah, because again, it's a digital representation of the physical world. So you meet in like an office, or you meet on a campus or somewhere, and conduct the interview and stuff like that. It's mind blowing, really, what is happening in the metaverse.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
You once told me you worked with Deloitte at some point, and while at Deloitte, you told me there was a time you guys had meetings.
Yes.
In the metaverse.
Yeah. It's so they were doing a training where it was a simulation of what happens. Let me say you're going to see your manager, right? You want to go see your manager. You want to talk about an issue in the team, something like that. So it was kind of a simulation of that. You wear the Oculus, you were the manager, and then now you see the person kind of walk in through the door, right? Obviously, the avatar, like an avatar version of them. But they walk in, they sit down, and then they are telling you what is going on. And then you could kind of, tailor your prompts or tailor your responses back to them. But it felt very natural, right? Again, being a manager, I was like, oh, this is literally how, in the real world. So the other point of the virtual environment is the concept of digital twins, right? And a digital twin is, especially from a industrial or factory perspective, let me say a big company that produces machines or something like that. You will build the machine in that virtual environment, test it out in that virtual environment to ensure, whether it's safety procedures, whether it's fit. Can this machine fit whatever space you want to put it in? You check all those things in the virtual environment before you build it in real life.
Simulation, fully.
Correct. It's a digital twin. You see this big machine here physically, it has a digital twin somewhere in the metaverse. And it's just cheaper for them to do that, you see.
Right.
Instead of building the machine and then finding out one or two things that are wrong, or finding out that it cannot fit in that space, you've already done that in the virtual environment. You know what? Forget about the big companies. You can do that. Most people don't maybe realize. On Amazon, if you want to buy something now, you can go into a space and then do the 3D update.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
do
if
that.
you-
Of course, I do
Yes.
that. I do that. Yeah, there was a time I wanted to buy a couch.
Yeah.
For one of my rooms, and then I went on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
I selected the couch.
Yeah.
I went to my room. I did the measurements.
Yeah.
And then I placed it right there.
You place it right there,
I mean,
digitally.
Yeah, digitally. And it
That's
tells
a
me
digital
this is the
twin.
right fit. Yeah.
That's a digital twin, right? That before you go and buy that thing, you ensure that it fits.
It fits, yeah.
So to what you just said, this is how it crosses now into the metaverse. Because in the metaverse, you just put that Oculus or whatever headset you have in your space. You'll be able to move things, right? Adjust things, see how they look like.
That's why it's called virtual reality.
Correct.
Yeah.
Before you implement it. So
Beautiful. Pick up your Oculus real quick.
Yes.
Let me pick up mine as well.
Yes.
Let's just do something real quick.
So this is the Oculus, guys.
Yes.
This is what the Oculus looks like. And you wear it. Okay, and you can control it with this headsets
Yeah.
right here. So I guess just a little bit background of what you're seeing. What are you seeing?
Right now, I'm seeing my screen, right? I see my screen, and I'm trying to connect. So I'm clicking on continue for me to get into my zone. So mine is loading.
Okay.
Are you there already?
It is loading as well for me.
Okay.
I'm creating a stationary boundary
Okay.
around me right now.
Yeah, same here.
So now I'm in my space. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna invite you over to my casa, right?
Paradiso.
To my paradiso,
All right.
as
let's
we
do
did
it.
last time. Let's meet in the metaverse instead. So in that Meta Horizon world, there's there's something called visit venues.
So I feel like I'm in Dubai right now.
I know, with the towers, right?
Right. I see those twin buildings. And all those towers.
yes. Do you see when the worlds, there are a bunch of worlds? Do you see that?
Yes, I see Super Rumble,
Yes.
NBA Arena, the aquarium, and all of those.
Okay, don't you see one called venues?
Not yet. Maybe I have to search for that.
Or if you see venues or Horizon Central.
Okay, I see Horizon Central.
You see Horizon Central? Okay, let's go
Yeah.
to that one. Do Visit World. Good.
Okay, Visit World. Okay.
Yeah, and you're right. It looks like Dubai, right?
Yep, yep,
The
yep.
skyscrapers in front of
I
you.
see
You
everything.
know, yeah.
See the mountains.
You see the mountains. You know, you can see a castle over on that side.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So I just landed in it. Have you landed?
I think I have landed. So choose who you want to talk with.
Okay. So come to this central tree here. There's a tree in the center.
So hold on. Let me close out this
Okay.
pop-up here first.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't see you yet though. Where are you? Okay, come to that DJ booth. You have to find that tree.
Oh, hold on.
Yes,
Hold on,
you
hold
have
on,
to
hold on.
find the tree.
Okay, I'm going in now.
I think I see you.
You see me?
Yes. Broski the Broski!
Hey, what's up, bro? That was you, bro.
Finally!
That's it.
Finally! Finally, Broski! Where have you been?
What's happening here, bro?
Shake my hand. Let me
Talk
give
to
you
me,
thumbs. Let me
talk
give
to
you
me,
thumbs
talk
up.
to
Let me
me.
give you thumbs up.
I give it back to you, bro.
Hey,
What's up?
Good to see
Same
you,
here,
bro.
Same
Good
here,
to see you.
same here. Tell me what's happening here. What's happening?
All right, so as you see, this avenue like this, it has a lot of shops, right?
Yeah,
So
I see.
so this is us. Let's come with me. Let me.
Okay.
This is me. Yeah, back here.
Yeah.
So let's start right here, right?
Okay.
This is almost like a mall. This is a mall, right? You come and you see different stores. This is Triumphs and Treasures on this side. This other side is Worlds Await. So think about what you do on Amazon on Web 2. Because where we are right now, this is Web 3.
Yeah.
You see? In Web 3, if I came and found this tree and I say, I think that this tree like this will fit very well in my house.
Right.
I will come and purchase it. You see?
Yeah.
And I can put it in my house space just to see how it would fit and everything.
Right.
But I am purchasing it in this metaverse. You understand?
Right.
Yes. You know, if I see this boat, let's go to an activity actually. Let
Let's
me
go.
take you. Let's go
Let's
to an
go.
activity.
Let's go.
Yes. So here, as you can see in this side, this is the shop central.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can come here to buy different outfits. So this is the new Captain America outfit. You know, you can buy that one. So the way you buy it, the money you use here, you're not gonna use dollars. You get?
This is where you use EFT, NFT.
Yes, NFTs
Yes.
and cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Right? Because cryptocurrency is the form of payment here.
Right.
And the NFTs now will be your decoration. Let me say you have your space in the metaverse, you know, your NFT would be your decoration.
Indeed.
Yes. Like, look at this very beautiful art right here.
Right.
You know, for example, you look at this art here, you're like, wow. You know?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh, look, this is us. This
Yes,
is
of
us.
course.
Hey,
This is like a mirror or
hey,
something.
this is a mirror.
Hey, what's up, guys? Here we are talking to you live or in where from where again?
From the metaverse. We're in Horizon Central right now. So
who is
but
this dude that is standing in my
I
front?
know he
Will you
keeps
get
just
out of
like
my
going
front?
by, but this is my brother. This is my broski.
Broski the broski.
What happened?
I think we just left the island.
Yeah, we just left the island.
Yeah, but this is good. At least we've been able to show
Yes.
how this stuff works.
How it works.
Yes, guys, this is the future,
Yep.
and the future is today. Remember,
Yeah.
this is what it's all about.
This is what it's about. This is the metaverse. So
Yeah.
thank you guys. Thank you, Ernie.
Absolutely, I'm back to normal now. So, guys, this is exactly what we're talking about. You know, it is good we adopt these technologies and make use of it. Have fun with them.
Right.
You know, and same with AI. This is how it all starts. Until you start adopting it,
Right.
you're not going to be able to be a part of the change that is
That is
happening.
coming. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to embrace change. Change is one thing that is constant in life. So until you adopt AI truly may take your job, may take your livelihood away. So be the man, be the woman that is actually adopting AI by, you know, upscaling and using the AI so that you are not sidelined. Okay? That's exactly what we have brought to you today, just to come encourage you how you can adopt AI and to give you the motivation that you actually need to adopt this technology and make your life better and stay relevant.
It sounds scary, but
Yes.
but you know the journey to 1,000 steps starts with one step.
One step.
You gotta
I
just
like that.
start small,
Right.
ask the right questions, just keep going, you know, and learn as much as you can. Yeah.
Beautiful. Again, until we come your way on the next episode, just win. Just adopt AI and start using it. BC, it was nice
Broski the broski.
having you on board tonight.
Thank you for having me,
coming.
bro.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
We'll do this again.
Yes.
We'll do this again.
Yes,
In fact, I
we'll
want
do
to
a
also
part two.
a part two, yes. And I also want to come to your old podcast. You have a
Yes,
podcast too.
I do have
Yes.
a podcast. It's called Mind and Heart Conversations
Mind
with BC.
and Heart
Conversation with BC.
BC.
So that's my own personal, you know, podcast, and the goal there is simple: it's just to meet people
Right.
and have a "How are you?" kind of conversation. Those grounded, you know,
Heart-to-heart conversation.
Heart-to-heart conversations. You know, we always go where it always seems in life like we're on autopilot. So it's a good opportunity for people to disconnect and just be transparent. And then I also have a business podcast called BC Advantage Insights, you know, where I aim to share a lot of, you know, news and statistics and just updates vis-a-vis AI and the changes that are happening. I posted a video recently just comparing all the different like ChatGPT,
Right.
BC AI, Claude, Gemini, Meta AI, just to see how, you know, each
It
of
all
them
come
works.
together.
Correct.
Wow. Beautiful,
Correct.
beautiful. Again, guys, we're going to be putting BC's contact details on the pod. So as you watch, you're going to be able to connect with him on his social media platforms and, of course, be able to follow his podcast and listen to what he's doing and how you can be coached or taught further.
Right.
So thank you for staying with us today. We don't want to take much of your time. Again, this is the Royalty Mindset Podcast, where we bring to you everything to transform your life and position you to king in life. Have a nice one.